This is Hidden Killers Week in Review.
A look back at the most prolific stories of the week.
This is Hidden Killers with Tony Brueski. Here now, Tony Brueski.
Before the mugshots, before the headlines scream matriarch of murder for hire, there was just Donna Adelson, a woman who for most of her life appeared to have it all under control, if that's the way you'd like to look at it. That word control is the gravitational center of her story, though. But control isn't something that shows up fully formed in adulthood. It's learned, molded, practiced, reinforced, and sometimes it becomes religion. So let's strip away the courtroom drama and step back into the world that built Donna Adelson. The post-war promise of order, the generational gospel of achievement, and the quiet undercurrent of fear that defined mid-century American families. What made Donna, Donna? Now, we are going to take some liberties here. We're going to make some assumptions, make some generalities. We're trying to understand what is behind the genesis of this control. And to do that, we have to go back in time and take a look at the world in which Donna grew up in. Donna was born around 1950, growing up in or near New York City. The child of a country obsessed with stability at that moment in time. White picket fences, perfect families, suburban lawns trimmed to regulation length. She'd go on to attend Queens College, part of the City University of New York system, a solid middle-class step towards professional respectability. She trained as a teacher, a role that, in the mid-century imagination, carried moral authority and social graces. The educator, the nurturer, the one who shaped young minds and kept chaos in line with a smile and a lesson plan. In the 1970s, she married Dr. Harvey Adelson, a dentist who built a successful cosmetic practice in South Florida. Together, they formed what looked like a model American dream. 3 children, a thriving business, and the kind of Palm Beach sheen that whispers, "We made it, Harvey. We made it, didn't we? We could do anything we want." That facade held on for decades. And then, like so many of them, it shattered. But before we get to the shattering, let's look at the scaffolding of this. What kind of world produced a woman who seemed to believe that control wasn't just necessary, it was survival, it was instinct, it's all she knows. The 1950s factory of obedience is where that takes us. To understand Donna Adelson, you have to understand the machine that made women like her. In the 1950s and 60s, they were built on the kind of psychological assembly line. The ideal woman was composed of obedience, polish, and performance. She wasn't supposed to question. She was supposed to achieve. She wasn't supposed to feel too much. She was supposed to present perfection. Children were raised under the watchful eye of parents who'd survived war and depression. They didn't want chaos. They wanted guarantees, rules, schedules, certainty. They'd already seen enough of the chaos. The sociologists later called it authoritarian parenting, high control, low warmth. Psychologist Diana Brumrind defined it in 1966. Parents who demand unquestioning obedience, who measured worth by compliance, because I said so, wasn't just a phrase, it was the moral framework. In post-war New York, that mindset thrived. Families migrated upward, often Jewish and first or second generation Americans were desperate to maintain the progress they'd crawled out of poverty to achieve. Discipline was love, achievement was security, and failure was not an option. It was a threat to the entire family's standing. And that's the air Donna Adelson would have breathed. This is not an excuse for Donna. This is the recipe for Donna. Imagine a child absorbing those messages. The world rewards order. Authority is safety. To lose control is to invite shame. Now, fast forward 20 years. That child grows up. She marries a man who runs a business. She joins him in it. She manages a home, 3 children, and a family image polished to mirror shine Every variable is accounted for, every schedule mastered, every child expected to perform. But control has a price. It doesn't leave room for failure or for autonomy. That's where things start to bend. Because the paradox of control is this: the more you grasp at it, the more brittle everything becomes. A person who lives by control can't tolerate uncertainty. They'll bend the world before they will bend themselves. So when life delivers chaos, when a son's marriage falls apart, when reputation is threatened, when the family's image starts to crack, the instinct isn't reflection, it's containment. Seal the leak, fix the narrative, make it right at any cost. Even if right means criminal. Authoritarian family systems don't teach emotional agility. They teach performance under pressure. They breed people who measure love in compliance and loyalty in silence. That doesn't make Donna a victim. It makes her a case study in what happens when control metastasizes. In families like these, control isn't about power for power's sake. It's about fear. Fear of failure, fear of humiliation, fear of losing the narrative. And fear, when it's dressed up as perfection, becomes the most dangerous emotion in the room because it looks like calm. It sounds reasonable. It's strategic, polite, maternal, until it's not. Control-based personalities often justify extreme behavior as responsibility. They'll say, "I'm just doing what needs to be done." But the subtext is a lot darker. If I don't handle it, everything will fall apart, and they believe it. And in that warped calculus, moral lines blur. Fixing a problem becomes more important than what the fix actually is. Donna Adelson's early career as a teacher wasn't just a job, it was a perfect fit for her era's social script, a structured environment, predictable outcomes, and authority over behavior. But when she transitioned into managing the family's cosmetic dentistry business, the scale of that control expanded. Now it wasn't just children, it was clients, image, money, staff, family reputation. In interviews and court filings, people around her described the Adelsons as a tight-knit but image-conscious family, a family that ran like a corporation. And Donna, she was the CEO of appearances. If you track that line forward, it leads exactly where you'd expect, to a woman who valued control so deeply that when chaos finally arrived, divorce, custody battles, a son on the verge of losing everything, she reached for the only tool she'd ever trusted: control by any means. Authoritarian upbringings create adults who thrive in systems until the system cracks. The human nervous system, trained for order, doesn't handle chaos well. And when chaos shows up in the form of betrayal, public humiliation, or the perception of losing a child, the psychological freefall can be catastrophic. Oh, and those kids, her children, they aren't their own people. Wendy, Charlie, the one who escaped to upstate New York, they're all extensions of Donna in Donna's mind. They are reflections of her. The inflection point in all this, where control can mutate into obsession, that's a big one. Where they drive to fix a problem, overrides legality, morality, and empathy. Now, if someone else did it on the outside, oh my gosh, look how immoral and horrible they are. But when you're doing it yourself, you're too close to the fire and you don't see the heat. It's where the mother stops asking, how do I help, and starts thinking, how do I remove the threat? That's not love, that's legacy panic, a desperate reflex to preserve the family's image at all costs. And it's a reflex born in homes where love and control were indistinguishable. It's easy to individualize this story, to paint Donna Adelson as a single villain in the tragic family opera, but she's also a reflection of her generation. The women who grew up told to smile, achieve, and keep the family together, even when it killed them inside. And many grew up, realized they had agency, autonomy, and could make their own choices. Others clung to their 8-year-old belief systems. Donna clung. Donna superglued. Donna duct tape herself to that. Because it worked so well for so long. The women who built empires behind men's names, who held the finances, raised the children, curated the image, and when things fell apart, were blamed for not holding it together. In that light, Donna's need for control looks less like anything abnormal or an anomaly, and more like overcorrection. She didn't invent the system, she just took it to its logical extreme. The tragedy of control-based living is that it feels safe until it isn't. When your entire identity is wrapped in order, you lose the ability to process disorder. You don't adapt, you eliminate. And if you've done it so many times on such smaller scales, you see how that works. So you got to up it a little bit to possibly murder? Well, you've handled 1,000 mini versions of this. Why not this one big one? Donna, you can do it. And that's where control curdles into corruption. What begins as an "I'll fix this" turns into "I'll make sure it never happens again." It's the quiet slope from influence to interference, from management to manipulation. That's not unique to Donna Adelson. It's a pattern that plays out in boardrooms, marriages, politics, everywhere people confuse dominance with safety. Here's what's verifiable. Donna Adelson was a teacher, a wife, a mother, a business partner, born around 1950 in New York, educated at Queens College, living the Florida success story. Everything beyond that, her parents, her childhood dynamics, her formative emotional landscape, it remains largely undocumented. But her choices as an adult reveal the architecture underneath. The command of detail, the compulsion for order, the zero tolerance for imperfection. And when the pressure came, when the walls began to crack, that lifelong devotion to control did not save her. It destroyed her. Because control can't protect you from chaos. It just delays the moment it arrives. Maybe that's the lesson buried under the wreckage of the Adelson family saga. If you build your life around control, one day, it will ask for everything. And you'll give it. Give me your thoughts in the comment section. On YouTube, if you're not already there, just search Hidden Killers with Tony Brueski, and you will find us there. Do that same search wherever you're downloading podcasts as well, and take us with you. Press subscribe so you don't miss any of it. We give you tons of coverage every single day on all these different cases. Please don't miss it. Hit subscribe. You'll love it. We do appreciate that. Until next time, my name is Tony Brueski, and we will talk again real soon.
Want more on this case and others? Then press subscribe now and don't miss a moment of true crime coverage from Tony Brueski and the Hidden Killers podcast.